Do this. Hey, everybody, we're going to start. How's it going? Welcome into Friday. It is April 4th. Welcome into cool stuff in the KSL Stream Center. I am Shara Park. We just got stuff going on here in the KSL newsroom. John's in the hot seat. I'm just going to... Kira's behind me. She's like, are we doing this? We're doing this. Let's get into it. Hi, John. How are you?
How's it going? I am way too close.
No, you're not. You're fine.
Am I okay?
Move. Don't move. Don't move. John from 103.5 The Arrow. John, welcome in. You know what? We're going to have some fun today. We always do on Friday.
I know, right?
We've got some energy here in the newsroom right now. And we're excited. I'm excited about this subject in particular. And it's because we're talking about this, vinyl.
Record store day.
It's so big, I can't even get it into the show. I know, I've got to pull back. If I pull back, I've got to bring the microphone with me. I know.
Which vinyl do you have there? What is that?
Wilco.
Oh,
Wilco.
Nice.
Okay, this is going to be a fun one. Okay, so if Facebook, YouTube, if you're watching, we're talking vinyl records today.
Yes.
Because John
Record
Smith.
Store Day.
We're at Record Store Day. It's coming up.
Right.
Next
Record
week.
Store Day is April 12th.
And the reason we're doing it this week is because I'm off next week.
I think I am too.
It's spring break.
Right.
And so we're talking about it this week.
Can I scoot back? This is driving me crazy.
Don't move.
No?
You look good.
Are you sure?
It's driving you crazy, but
Okay.
everybody else watching, you
All
look
right.
absolutely perfect.
You're the expert. I'll trust you.
You look perfect. We're talking vinyl record day or record store day.
Record Store Day.
And you and I yesterday on the noon show, on the show I anchor for KSL TV, we were talking about this. And I said, let's talk about this in the Stream Center tomorrow because this is exciting. This is something people are passionate about, and this is something you're passionate about.
Very much so. Like, I have been into music for as long as I can remember. And I love shopping at record stores because I'm one of these guys that has to actually feel and hold the music that I'm buying. Now, admittedly, I'm new to the vinyl craze.
Okay.
A lot of the youngers, a lot of the millennials and Gen Z kids are really into the vinyls before me. I'm still rocking the CD collection that I've been.
I thought you were going to say 8-track.
Oh yeah. So the 12-track tapes. So a couple of years ago, my kid, she's now 11. She found a record player at a garage sale.
Okay.
And she's been obsessed with vinyl ever since. And so we've spent the last 3 years tracking down all of this vinyl. So she's been getting a musical education from the Beatles and Led Zeppelin and then some of the easy listening stuff like Carly Simon and John Fogerty and Little River Band and then some of the 80s stuff, going into the new wave stuff like New Order and even some hip hop like Run DMC. She is all over it, and she has all of these vintage records, which is so much fun.
Being a radio show host, this is right up your alley.
I've never been more proud.
I mean, right? You're a proud papa in this category here.
I imagine this is how my dad would have felt if I wanted to play basketball.
Okay, I love this. So you and I yesterday were like, okay, let's bring in some vinyl. I have to admit to you here, I actually had to ask my husband about this. So my husband is a musician.
Okay.
He's played in many bands. And so this, as soon as I said, Nick, hey, I need to borrow some of your vinyl, he got so excied.
Yes, so, you need this one, and you need this one, and you need this one.
So he has about 450 vinyl.
Oh my gosh.
I'm not kidding. He just really started
I'm gonna come play at
his
your house.
Collection. So he went down and he picked me out some of the few. I picked out a few that I wanted to bring, but he picked out a few that he said, oh no, you need to show John some of these and take some of these. These are his favorite too. So we'll talk about some of his favorite vinyl and some of my favorite coming up here in just a few minutes. But your episode here, Cool Stuff in Utah, set us up. We're going to play this. Folks who are watching on Facebook, weigh in. Okay, this is going to be a conversation today.
Yes.
We want to hear about your favorite vinyl, your favorite stores that you go shop at, what you like to listen to, because this is John's subject, people. I'm not going to pretend like I really know this subject. I don't. I try, but I really don't. So weigh in. If you have questions for John, of course, put them in the chat. I'll ask them for you. But John, set us up about this episode because this is a fun one here.
Thank you.
We'll play the episode and then I'll show you my little stack of vinyl that I brought here today.
Right. So Record Store Day is coming up. That's the day that everybody goes out and you support local record stores. And this started in the days of like the big box media stores that are largely gone now. So I'm thinking like, you remember Media Play in Taylorsville? Obviously that was a big one.
Graywell.
Media Play was like this big box chain store, and then they were up against like the local record stores like Gray Whale and Heavy Metal Shop and Raunch and Pegasus, some of whom are still around. Modified Records is another one that was really cool in the 90s. They're no longer around. But some of the world's best record stores are right here in Utah, and they still exist. So Raunch is still around. We didn't get a chance to get them in the episode. Another one is Daybreak Records. I know they're kind of a newer location, but they have a lot of great stuff. The three that we feature in this episode are three of my favorites.
Okay.
Heavy Metal Shop, Randy's Records, and Gray Whale.
Okay.
And check it out. Here we go.
Here we go.
Class record stores right here in Utah. We're going to talk about some of them today. Some of my favorites, of course, Heavy Metal Shop, Peddlin' Evil since 1987. I love it. Let's go take a look. How do you survive Peddlin' Evil in a place like Salt Lake City?
Well, I think Salt Lake City needed it more than most places. I don't know. Just my love of music is why I think it worked out.
Being a rock and roll icon in Salt Lake City, like you've stuck it out, right? Like you've been in bands here. You played at the Speedway. You opened for bands that went on to be huge and famous, and now those bands are wearing your logo. Like, that's got to be pretty cool, right?
We owe a lot to Slayer because they wore our stuff a lot. And they did that on their own. I mean, it was just, Tom Araya is very cool. And
in 1995, I swiped a Swing and Utter sticker off of your cash register.
Oh, did you?
And I put it on my car, and I feel bad about it.
So you peeled it off?
It was on the side of the cash register.
Was it Swing and Utter? You know, I think they stuck that on there.
Okay, I actually get to put a sticker on the counter at the Heavy Metal Shop. Can I pick where? Here? There's a dead space right here.
Yeah, that's good. Sure.
Huge pleasure, man. Thank you so much. Here on 9th South, about 1st East, so you have Heavy Metal Shop right over here. And right across the street since 1978, Randy's Records. Let's go have a look. So Randy's Records has been around since October 1978, when Randy was in the Vietnam War and his brother would send him records to get a little taste of home. That's when he decided he loved music. 45 years later, celebrating a vinyl revival of sorts. This reminds me of like some of the record stores that aren't around Utah anymore. You had Modified, you had Starbound, you had Pegasus. And then you started seeing these big box stores like Media Play, and the little stores kind of started dying out. And then digital music hits, and they were all gone, except for just a handful that are still here. And Randy's Records still killing it, man. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get me some punk rock, and I'm gonna get me some Captain and Tennille. Love will keep us together, man. Literally, every thrift store you go to will have this record for like $1. If you were to come and buy a Metallica calendar from 1997, it'll be good again in 2025. So $10. So you think about going back to 1978, Randy's Records first opened. They have these record rooms where you'd go and you'd be able to kind of preview the record, find out if it's something you want. So you have one of the original doors, which I noticed a KNAC logo and a KCPX logo. We're missing a KRSP logo. Randy Rose, Alan Haig, Doug Wright, and, of course, John Smith. 40 years later.
Does he forget about me? Am I not the second?
You were there too.
Show?
You're there too. So that's Randy's Records. Great record store. You have a lot of like iconic rock and roll venues in Salt Lake City and Utah in general. You had the Terrace Ballroom in the 60s and 70s, of course, Lagoon. And then you had the smaller venues where we would go and see bands that would go on to be huge. You had the basement of Club Deviate. You had the Zephyr Club. Oh, we should go check out the where the old Speedway Cafe was.
Okay.
This is 505 West, 500 South. And once upon a time, this was the Speedway Cafe. Back in the day, you'd see bands like Nirvana as an opening act. You'd see GBH, TSOL, the Smashing Pumpkins.
Here?
Yeah, right in there.
There's no way.
Let's see, Alice in Chains, Soundgarden, before anybody had ever heard of them.
Did it look like this?
It looked actually worse. It's actually,
did not.
the area has cleaned up quite a bit since then. It was a blast. There's one more record store I want to go check out. It's in my home stomping grounds of Taylorsville. Let's go out to the west side. So one of my favorite record stores didn't actually start as a record store. Gray Whale was Gray Whale CD Exchange. In fact, in 1986 when they opened, they were quite possibly the first CD exchange location in the world. I think that's why vinyl has made a comeback, not just because it sounds better, which it does. People will fight me on that all day. But there's something about just holding the actual record in your hand and going, yeah, dude, I own this. This is mine. I actually may buy this one. They've re-released it on vinyl. It's a 35th anniversary. As if this is something we need to remember. So back in the 90s, man, this was my store. I'd say probably at least 80% of every tape or CD I ever bought came from this store. Well, it was actually down there, but it was the same mall, and it was still Gray Whale. My thanks to Gray Whale, my thanks to Kevin Kirk from the Heavy Metal Shop, and to Sam and Randy from Randy's Records in Salt Lake City. Happy Record Store Day. Go buy some records, support your favorite artists, and support some local businesses. Like it, subscribe to it, comment below on what you want to see next time on Cool Stuff in Utah. See ya.
Blame it on the rain.
You doing Milli Vanilli?
Oh my gosh, that documentary, mind-blowing, by the way. My gosh. That was awesome. Okay, some incredible music history here in Utah. Didn't know that Gray Whale was the first CD.
First CD exchange in the world. Because when CDs first came out in the 1980s.
Sure, in the world or in the U.S.?
In the world. Wow. In the world, because the owner had brought back a collection of CDs from Europe. And there was nobody here to trade with him. And CDs were more than $100 each.
That's amazing.
In some cases, they were upwards of $400 per disc. And so they were like, well, what if we came up with this place where people could trade them? And, you know, you'd go and you'd record it to a 12-track tape, and then you'd be like, okay, I don't need this anymore. Let's trade it out. So they would, and thus Gray Whale was born.
Gray Whale was born. That's amazing.
Right?
Okay. I love that you and I are from the west side, and we're like, these are our places. I think you're pulling out the west side. Don't do that. Okay. I knew you wouldn't remember. I told you to bring some of your vinyl, and you didn't even do it.
Forgot.
But I did. I love that some people are weighing in here. Karen, by the way, happy Hug a News Person Day. Thank you very much, Karen. Carol, I asked, so I said, anyone want to share a favorite band or vinyl they want to share with us? And Carol said, Pink Floyd, Animals.
Oh, great album.
Great album.
Fantastic album.
Okay.
If you can find an original pressing of that, you are doing
That's
well.
Awesome. Okay, so my husband said I said, what was his favorite vinyl that he has? He said the Wilco one was the one that he told me to bring. So Wilco, and
nice.
he liked the press here on it. Was the Milky White one.
Great alternative band.
Yep. Okay, so I thought this was a cool one that he had. It was the Beatles, Sgt. Pepper.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Now, is that a re-release?
I don't know. You asked me like I know these things.
Here, pass that over here. Let me see.
All right. Send it through the desk. You look at it. What does that mean?
This is a vintage copy. This is an original
so
pressing.
That's a good one?
Yeah,
right?
so you can actually tell because it's got the Capitol Records logo.
Okay.
Right there. And later on, they did a thing called Capitol Purple.
Okay, so Michael Jackson, Thriller.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Classic album.
Classic. I feel like I have to go back here. Michael. So this is the one my kids listen to.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Your kids are so cool.
So my kids would put this one on. It was funny I bought my husband when we redid our house. He was building up his music room downstairs, and I bought him the record player, and he was so cute because he opened it and it was like, oh, thanks, and then I knew immediately I bought the wrong one. He sent it back.
He had to get a better one.
He got the better one. He was like, oh, thanks. Yeah, no, not the right one. The Strokes was another one. He said,
album.
Take that one to talk to John about.
Yeah.
The Strokes. Good one. This is another one, a Beatles one that he was like, that's a good one to talk about. 1967. I think that was an original press one as well.
Is this the White Album?
I don't know.
Oh, no.
You talk to me like I know these things. Okay,
cool.
I'm sending that one under the desk. Okay, this is the one I bought, and here's why. Here's what I like about the new way they're pressing vinyl.
Yeah.
Is the Weezer one. Okay, so this is the one I bought.
Right.
This is like representation of my generation.
The blue album.
The blue album, and the way that they're pressing it on colored vinyl now.
So cool.
I know. So
that was
cool.
the sweater song.
This is like my husband and I, like our dating life.
Buddy Holly.
Yes.
My name is Jonas.
And the way it's like pressed on blue vinyl, I just think it's so cool, right?
Yeah, classic album.
So the kids today, when they're out buying vinyl, like Taylor Swift and all those, they're like pressed on colored vinyl now.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like so cool, right?
I remember. Do
think
you
that's so
remember
rad.
getting the square records on the back of cereal boxes?
Yes.
In the 80s? You remember doing that?
Yeah.
Classic, man. That was
That's
so cool.
That's so cool.
To be a kid, to be born in the 70s,
I
raised in the
know.
80s, and come of age in the 90s, like our generation, the latter half of Gen X, we really are the luckiest people in the world to get the music experiences that we got, because we are right at the final age before digital music. So we really had to try to explain to my kid how we'd have to go and we'd have to sit through hours of crappy tapes just to get to the one good song on the Primus
flip
record.
it over. Remember flipping it
Oh,
over?
and then you had to flip it over.
Well, and then the books of CDs. How many books in our cars of CDs did we have?
It was a
I
status
still have
symbol.
them.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
still have them. Our kids will never understand having to open the trunk to change the CD player in the trunk.
Right. Oh, yeah. I got to get the other Beatles CD. Hang on a second.
Yeah, Joe, that's what Joe on Facebook said. Don't forget, next Saturday is Record Store Day. Joe, that's why we're talking about it here today.
Yep, April 12th.
April 12th is Record Store Day. John had the most amazing cool stuff in Utah segment talking about Record Store Day. And we just watched that here, looking at the different stores here in Utah. You can go out, you can, tap into our local music scene here in Utah and enjoy it and support local and just talking about the cool stuff we have here in Utah. And this was the perfect example
Always.
to do that. So appreciate it, John Smith. Where
Thank
can
you
we
so
find
much.
more cool stuff in Utah? As we talked about the vinyl that we have in our own homes here. And of course, you can continue to weigh in on our Facebook page or on our YouTube channel. But John, where do we find more cool stuff in Utah?
Of course, go to YouTube and just type in cool stuff in Utah. You'll see everything. They'll come right up. And that's really the best way to do it right now. That's the easiest way. And there's like 70 of these episodes that we've done. Everything from the history of the state capitol. We go trudging through cemeteries. We go exploring abandoned old buildings. And, of course, celebrating the local music scene whenever possible.
Just like that. And of course, you bring Sam along with you, and she's amazing to put up with your shenanigans.
Oh, totally.
We love her.